the way this is going to work, if it works at all, is if I'm just asking questions. Because if it's me going on a tour around the country yelling at people, that would be satisfying for me emotionally, but it just wouldn't.
I love that he admits that. Like, he would be satisfied yelling at trans people around the country. Joe Rogan had Matt Walsh on? Ew, that's so gross, bro.
I can't tell you how many people your documentaries.
Yeah, that's a self-report, dummy. That just means like you're surrounded by trans-obsessed, transphobic weirdos, okay? That's all that means, okay? He's like, man, all my friends suck shit, okay? He's literally like, dude, I can't begin to explain to you how much my fucking friends suck ass, okay? Like, I'll tell you what, I've had zero motherfuckers in the real world come up to me and be like, bro, have you seen the What Is a Woman documentary by Matt Walsh? You want to know why? Because I'm not surrounded by psychos who are like, hey, what's the next agitprop I can inform myself about these mischievous demon-like trans people? Ooh, sneaky. What are they doing? Are they pissing in litter boxes in schools?
Ready for this? My friend, his wife, is a school teacher. And she works at a school that had to install a litter box in the girls' room because there is a girl who's a furry who identifies as an animal.
Like, that's why. But yeah, let's see what we had to say.
Most eye-opening things that's ever been done on this whole gender confusion thing that we're going through right now in our culture. And it was just like one of those things where I had to watch. Like, so many people were like, you have to see this. You have to see this. And I expected it to be like, I thought it would be like arguments with people, or it would be very, very confrontational. But instead, I think you did it masterfully. What you did is you just let these people explain themselves the way they would talk if you weren't there. The way they would talk to people who agree with what they're saying. And by not pushing back, I think you allowed them to let all the crazy out. And it's like, it's hard to describe to people that aren't aware of what's going on, of how wild this stuff has gotten. But first of all, tell me, what was the process of making this? Like, how long did it take? What was the motivation behind it?
Yeah, thanks for talking about it so much on your podcast, by the way. It's been a huge boost for us. And I had this idea. You'd really have to go back several years, because it occurred to me maybe back in, 2017, that when this transgender stuff was starting to really gain mainstream traction, which I think happened that was like maybe when Bruce Jenner became Caitlyn Jenner. That was the moment that I think it exploded onto the mainstream. Not when it began, but it exploded onto the mainstream. Right around that time, it sort of occurred to me that the people promoting this stuff have a problem, which is that we're supposed to accept someone like Bruce as a woman, but then what exactly does that mean? What are we accepting him as? Like, he says, I identify as a woman. Well, what are you identifying as? What are we, if you're a woman, well, I know what a woman was before, but if now we're including a guy like Bruce.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think you did. I don't think you did. That's cap. That's just what it is, It's like, I didn't know what a woman was. I thought I knew what a woman was. It's like, why are they making something so understandable complicated? It's on purpose. He's being purposely obtuse in order to draw home a larger narrative, which is that, that he just finds it confusing. Because a lot of people do, because of social conditioning, okay? He knows a lot of people find it confusing, and that's precisely why he's covering it this way. He's like, oh, it's just like weird. I'm just asking questions. Like, no, that motherfucker's not asking questions, okay? I think you underestimate how stupid he is. No, brother, that person is not behaving that way. He has uncovered antiquated trans documents from like the primitive accumulation period just so he can be more transphobic. Are you stupid? It's his bread and butter. His bread and butter is just like constantly shitting on trans people. It's like, at its most, okay, it's occupying such a gigantic space in your mind. It is so deeply unhealthy, okay?
Bruce, then what is a woman now? And so I started asking this question. It was really basic, just like, what is a woman? What are you trying to say about womanhood now? And couldn't get anyone to answer it. I mean, and mostly it's just on Twitter, and challenging someone on the left. Just give me a definition. What's your definition of the word? And none of them would do it. So at a certain point, I thought, well, we have to find a way to go out and put this question in front of them. And that's sort of where the idea for the documentary came from.
I think it straight up is mental illness. When you're so obsessed with trans people that like your entire life revolves around shitting on trans people and like finding the newest thing that is happening in the trans community just so you can like, you know, shit on trans people better. It's crazy. You're not normal. You need help. Like, it's breaking your brain.
I guess we should start with, we've got gender and sex, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between the two? Is there a difference?
Sex refers to a set of biological characteristics, and gender is a social construct or category. What I think is often misleading about that characterization is allowed to be sort of.
Wait, what? He did not just cut him describing it. He did not skip. Well, that's great. That's cool. He's just fast forwarding through his discussion. He's like, yeah, I don't really care about that because, you know, you're actually describing things.
Messy and complicated. But in that framing, when you split them up into these wholly discrete constructs, studies scholars, and really more specifically people who study gender and sex, we're not talking about sexuality right now, in the kind of academic universe that I travel in.
So are gender and sex two different things, or?
This is a perfect representation, by the way, a perfect representation of conservative argumentation. He's not there in good faith. He doesn't need to learn anything. He doesn't want to learn anything. As a matter of fact, he is also cutting you up, like cutting your arguments up in an effort to make sure that no one accidentally learns anything, okay? He literally is like cutting it down to be like, yeah, look at how blah, 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 boring, gay. Okay, bro. Huh, gay, bro. What's a woman? Tell me now. Please tell me, what is a woman? I've never been around one. What is a woman? This is why you can't take these animals seriously, okay? You can't. Matt Walsh is fundamentally no different than a animal in the wild, okay? One note, an animal in the wild is like, I'm hungry, I smell food, I'm gonna go eat it, okay? Matt Walsh, in this circumstance, is literally like, I wanna cut propaganda. I despise trans people, and I'm gonna use every opportunity to shit on trans people. How can I do it? I'm gonna go up to this guy, and I'm gonna use them like a fleshlight, okay? Like a pocket pussy. That's it! The way to look at this, regardless of your perspective on the matter, the way to look at this is through empathy, okay? That's what you're supposed to do. Just your starting point should be empathy. Just let trans people exist. Who cares? That is where your starting point should be, okay? Because that's all trans people want to do. There is no additional conspiracy. There's no like transing your children. None of that. It's just, they just want to be normal and they want to coexist and cohabitate the spaces that we're in without constantly looking over their shoulder thinking that someone's gonna destroy them. Okay.
And we knew going in that we wanted two things, well, three things. One is we have the mission behind it, the message that we want to get across. But we also want it to be a piece of entertainment, you know, because a lot of conservative documentaries, not all of them, but many of them are just, you feel like you're watching an extended version of a podcast or something. It's not a piece of entertainment. So we wanted it to be that. And then we also knew that the way this is going to work, if it works at all, is if I'm just asking questions. Because if it's me going on a tour around the country yelling at people, that would be satisfying for me emotionally, but it just wouldn't.
I love that he admits that. Like, he would be satisfied yelling at trans people around the country. Like, that would be a satisfying thing for him emotionally. I wonder where all this resentment is coming from. Oh wait, that's right. This motherfucker is straight up, he's got turf brain, okay? It's a brain disease. It is a mental illness. These people, like Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh, know more about trans shit than trans people do. They literally are like at the cutting edge of trans news. They're straight up every day. They're like Googling what's happening right now with the trans community just so they can be more transphobic. Come on. They talk about trans shit more than trans people do, bro. What the fuck? It is so incredibly unhealthy to just like constantly think about anything this much. If you were this obsessed with anime, I'd tell you, dude, you need to dial it back, okay?
What's your opinion on anime? I think it's all satanic. I have no argument for it. I have no argument for why it's satanic. It just seems that way to me.
What the fuck?